Mad Tea Party production. If you enjoy our show, make sure you become a Patreon. Subscribe to us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Listen to us on iHeartRadio and Spotify. For more information, visit us at videostoretales.com. Now, on with the show. He'd go down on Gary Oldman to seduce Winona Ryder, Garrick Lane. He thinks Naomi Watts and Adrian Brody are still on the boat to Skull Island, Lee Bridges. He was with your mother last night. When I asked him about it, he said he needed a bigger boat. Doug Wall, welcome to Tales from the Video Store. How we doing, guys?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I've been gone for 2 weeks. We're getting a little bit behind on our content, but that's okay.
Yep.
I was shooting a TV show about Dirty Dancing. I can see my souvenir Kellerman shirt on today.
Yep.
Glad to be back. But anyway, we watched some movies this week.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me all about it.
All right. I just went and saw the new Men in Black film. Men in Black 4, I guess.
Lee Bridges went to the new Men in Black.
I did. It was the only thing playing I could see that I felt, everything else was...
What else are you going to go see?
Exactly. I wasn't going to go see the new X-Men.
Certainly not.
No, and it was okay. It was, it was one of those movies, right after I walked out of the theater, I forgot about it,
Oh, I'm sure.
But, the ending is very similar to Howard the Duck, the movie from 1984.
Oh, that's about right.
And, just plot-wise, it's,
right.
But, I like to say, it's a time waster.
That's not the best sign.
No, absolutely not. And other than that, I saw the new Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
And monster fighting, A+, human cast, C-. Ken Watanabe and Kyle Chandler are great in the movie. Like, they're the characters you give a crap about. And then there's Lily 20.
Ken's always
he's really good. He's like the heart of the movie.
Right.
And Kyle Chandler's like sort of the emotion, he's just trying to get his wife and his kid back. He could, he's all in favor of nuking every one of these things.
Right.
He's, but they sort of Kyle Chandler's character sort of inherits Ken Watanabe's role in it, and which I'm sure, since they're shooting Godzilla vs. Kong right now, I'm sure that will play into that.
Right.
And but the rest, Vera Farmiga is a great actress, just annoying in the movie. Not necessarily her performance, just her character,
right.
And she means nothing. But Mothra looked great, King Ghidorah looked great. It was I posted something on the page the other day, I'm a man in suit guy when it comes to monster movies.
Oh, that video was awesome,
right, yeah.
too.
And it was from one of the 90s Godzilla movies, just behind the scenes footage. But this, I wasn't thinking that during the movie.
Right.
It looks amazing. Like the fights, and it has little callbacks to the older Toho movies.
Nice.
Like a lot of the mythology. They sort of, the actress we talked about last time, Zhang Ji Li from Crouching Tiger. They sort of, in the Mothra movies, you have the little 13-inch twin Chinese women who sort of communicate with Mothra. They sort of tie to her being sort of a more realistic version of that, where she's connected to Mothra psychically.
Oh, she's in the movie?
Yeah, and because they show a picture of her mom, and it's her mom and I guess her aunt. They're identical twins. They look like the women from the Mothra movies. So it's sort of making it more real, more plausible.
I gotcha.
And but they mentioned King Ghidorah being from outer space, and all that. It's a very Godzilla movie. And like a lot of older Godzilla movies, you just don't give a shit about the humans.
I mean, that's the shtick.
Highly entertaining movie.
Nice.
And other than that, I watched a movie that's on Amazon Prime that you can watch if you have a Prime account, from 1972 called The Mad Bomber, which is a very just sleazy 70s movie. This guy, Chuck Connors,
sounds like my kind of movie. Let me write that down.
Chuck Connors plays this guy who just hates society. Kind of similar to the Unabomber in real life. He hates the way society's going. So he starts planting bombs. And he's sending these audio tapes to the police. How he wants his manifesto published.
Right.
And one night while he's planting a bomb, a guy witnesses him coming into this hospital, but the guy who is the witness is a rapist who is there raping a patient. And so the cop, who's this dirty, almost like Dirty Harry, but sort of insane, you kind of get the feeling this cop he's on the edge.
Right.
And so this mentally unstable cop has to find this rapist so he can identify this mad bomber.
Whoa.
And
wow.
it's like I said, if you're talking about like scummy 70s movies, this is it. And it's not that it's that explicit, really, compared to movies now, but it's just the storyline. Kind of like Vice Squad.
Right.
The storyline is scummy, and it's very 70s. Like the music, it just, But like I said, if you have a Prime account and you're looking for something that you haven't seen before, The Mad Bomber.
Check it out.
Yeah.
The Mad Bomber.
Yep.
Cool. That all you watch?
That's all I watched.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yes.
Did you watch it?
I did watch Triple Threat.
Okay.
And the reason, and let's go into it, the reason why I didn't mention it is I have forgotten it. It's entertaining. It's good. I appreciate you buying it because you and I are both physical media guys. We like to have the movie. But it is not.
I told you.
It will not be on anybody's 10 favorite.
Michael
action
J.
movies.
White ruins it. He's terrible.
Well, I mean-
Did you not feel like he was trying to be Samuel L. Jackson in
Oh, yeah.
Pulp Fiction? When
Yeah,
he
there's a
walked in
very.
and he's like,
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
He's definitely trying to be a bad motherfucker. And he is. That's the thing. Like, he
Yes, he
he
is.
could just be himself and do martial arts, and you would think he was bad.
Did you feel like it was too much fighting?
I felt like it's too much everything.
Too much
Like,
everything.
the plot is they're
I would
mercenaries.
agree.
They're mercenaries who save the daughter of this billionaire. So it's a mercenaries
Yes.
versus assassins movie,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's basically just a lot of the top martial arts movie actors. You can look up the cast. It's Tony Jaa, it's Tiger Chin, Iwana Kiwanis, Michael Bisping from the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got everybody.
That's the guy.
Yeah,
That's the guy
the
I
English
couldn't
guy.
remember. Yep.
And but it's forgettable. I mean, it's a good 90 minutes. It's kind of it's better than Men in Black. I'm not gonna say it's like that, but it's a time waster.
It's Tom.
And I
What
will
did you
give-
think? You watched it too, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's one of yours.
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
So we all feel the exact same.
Right.
Yeah.
It's-
I mean, the only cool scene.
I'll never watch it again. I
Yeah.
spent $10.
As far
on
as I'm
nothing.
concerned, the only cool scene was
You guys
when,
both owe me $3.50.
was when the
I'll Venmo that to
the
you.
female, I guess she was one of the assassins, gets the grenade launcher to the face.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
Right.
it was all kind of predictable.
Yeah.
And nothing really
Yeah,
memorable.
it was the same thing.
Yeah.
The fighting was cool.
Like it
was
says,
great.
like it says on the box.
wasn't bad, it was just-
it's a Kung Fu Expendables,
Yeah.
and like the Expendables movies, I'll never
Yeah.
watch them again.
I never watched it
One
again.
and done.
Now the same that movie I talked about a couple weeks ago, Avengement, that was directed by the same guy, Jesse V. Johnson, and I will give him credit for having two movies come out within the same month that he directed. So I will give his hustle credit,
Right.
and that he is just banging out movies, But if you're going to watch one of the two, I would suggest watching Avengement. As you tell, that's a movie he gave a shit about, whereas
Right.
this is like a product. Is the best way I can say it.
Yeah.
This was just, hey,
Yeah.
some hedge fund guy
Right.
threw some money out and said, I
Yep.
want to put all these guys in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Write something real fast,
Yep.
and that's what we got.
And they did.
Exactly.
And the
Which-
plot doesn't really matter as long as you have X amount of
Yeah.
kung fu fights.
Which is why the head of Warner Brothers, who has now since quit, greenlit the Godzilla MonsterVerse movies.
Right.
He wanted to see a remake of King Kong vs. Godzilla. When he
That's
asked why
why.
he spent all that money and got the rights from Toho, he's like, I just want to see them fight. And some people, that's all you want.
Yep.
If you want to see people fight, watch Triple Threat.
There
And
you
for a
go.
split second, I forgot the title, so I had to reach for it.
There you go.
Nice save.
That's
Yeah.
that's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
It's, it was.
Yeah, I mean,
So cool. We just ruined your whole shpick, didn't we?
No.
No, you got more stuff.
Oh, I got plenty more stuff.
All right, cool.
So, one of the names of the monster movies that we're going to do is from the 50s called Them. And when I was looking for it on Amazon Prime, I found a French movie from 2006 by the same name by David Moreau, I believe was the director's name. I'd never seen this before.
Right.
Somehow it's like a psycho thriller kind of. It's not really a horror movie, but it is really creepy. This couple's staying in. It's not abandoned, but it's a massive mansion, and some people come messing with them.
Okay.
It has a cool ending. That's all I'm really going to say about it, because if I say anything else about what
Right.
it is or who it is that's chasing them, it kind of gives the whole thing away. It's not very good.
I bought it in 2006. I bought it then. I've never watched it. It's been sitting on my shelf for that many years.
Not very good.
Yeah.
A movie that I didn't think would be as good, or I wasn't sure if it would be, that I got suckered into watching was A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga and Cooper as the director. And look, did I enjoy the movie? Not necessarily. Was I annoyed with Lady Gaga 99% of the time? Yes. But I will say this. I really like Bradley Cooper. Dude.
Absolutely.
And you
and
could
his
tell,
directing, like what he did with that movie.
You could tell he put
everything into
fucking thing that he had into it. And that's why I respect it. Like, one thing that you had mentioned about his voice, and just he seems like a completely different person.
Like
man.
he felt like he was. You felt like he was drunk the whole time.
And I knew the direction the movie was going to take.
Sure.
One way or the other, you knew something was going to happen. You know, is that this sort of movie something I would really recommend anybody? No, not really. Unless you're a fan of Bradley Cooper, and I would say, man, watch this just because he's that good in it. And like you said, the direction of the movie, it's really well done. I just don't really like the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a little too Hollywooded, but...
One cool thing, though, that he did that not a lot of people would pick up on that I noticed, you know, the first time I can remember seeing Bradley Cooper was in Alias. And in this movie, he had a couple of guys that were in Alias with him that I hadn't really seen in a lot of things since then. Like bit stuff. Like Greg Grunberg was the limo driver. And Ron Rifkin was the, I think he was the rehab guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, is it great? No. But the live shots, man, when he's on stage, dude, they were really well done.
And he was really playing.
I mean, all that's great. Just, you know, everything else.
Yeah, sometimes the cake don't bake.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott was really good.
Yeah. In the four scenes he was in.
Right, but you could really feel the anger like that he had towards his brother and what his brother had accomplished. Like you said, there's things about that movie. Like, it's just good. I wasn't so much annoyed with Lady Gaga, but I think that was because Bradley Cooper put everything into that. Yeah. And he made her not so annoying. If anybody else would have directed her.
Why did she go from, like, doing these songs with him to suddenly being like Lady Gaga? You know, like her career path, it was just really strange. She was doing, like, pop music all of a sudden. I just thought that was odd. Didn't you? Like... You know, middle of the movie, she's with this country, you know, kind of country western singer, and doing these duets with him. It's beautiful,
right?
And then the next thing you know, she's like on, you know, shooting videos and like with backup dancers and all this. It was just really strange to me.
Well, that's because her career took a total. She was just you're right. But they had to do that. I think they had to do that to make it to separate them from.
I guess.
I mean,
watching it, I was like, God,
and there's lots of flaws, but I agree. Like what Bradley Cooper did and how he did it was so good that it was good. I mean, I didn't cry at the end, but I was like, Bradley Cooper did pretty good. That was what I said. I didn't understand. Well, you know, a lot of people. Well, the way the end is, you know, the montage and the music and all that stuff. A lot of people were going to leave that.
It was weird ending. I thought.
Sure, I thought it was too. I thought it was. For him to do what he did, like, that was very strange.
It was
they didn't really even get into it.
No.
It's kind of like he just showed up and...
I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Like, so, either way, I don't know if that was a story or not.
I think he said it was like an Oscar-worthy, and maybe it is for that type of movie, I guess. Him as a director. Like, he was that good, I thought. I'll say that. Is it a great movie? You're never going to watch it.
No.
But if you like Bradley Cooper...
I would watch it if they were showing it on the inside of my eyelids.
Yeah, I got you. Check it out. And I watched one more movie that I want to get into real quick. I was hoping that you guys had seen it, but I don't think you have. I watched M. Night Jordan Peele's Us.
That was good.
Last night. And, like, that's the question. Is Jordan Peele going to be the new M. Night Shyamalan? And after watching Us, it is a resounding, yeah, it really looks like it may be.
Right.
Look, I like Peele. I really do, man. He's creative. His movies look great. They have a feel to them. But if you give him free reign, you're going to get more of this, which is just nonsense, man. It's just utter nonsense. And I don't care what anybody can try and tell me that this movie symbolizes or is about, because it is so hard to watch. It's so hard to get to the end of it, man. I tried probably 3 different times to turn it off, and I'm like, come on, man, make it.
Next
make
to
it
Get
the
Out,
end.
though.
This
It's horrible.
This does not hold a candle to Get Out.
Wow.
Yeah.
This, I'll give you the rundown. So there's this family. Starts off in 1986. This girl's at it's Santa Cruz, I think, California, and they're on the boardwalk, and she walks away from her dad and walks into like a haunted house or like a fun house with all the mirrors and stuff, and she sees a girl that looks exactly like her, and it's freaked her out ever since. And then it goes forward to, I guess it's nowadays, and they're at this beach house. She's married now, her husband and 2 kids, and then this family shows up at the top of their driveway, and it's them. They're wearing like these red, kind of like factory worker suits, and they have these large scissors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they come down.
The studio lights are cooking you, aren't they?
They can't talk. They grunt. Mm-hmm. One of them can kind of muster words. It was just super annoying, man.
Right.
Like I say, man, I like the way that Peele crafts his movies. He builds it slowly, and then there would be a point where I'm like, this is going to be something cool, and it just wasn't.
Do you think the movie's way more clever than it thinks it is?
On a scale of 1,000,
yeah,
10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Not nearly as clever as it thinks it is.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, I like the guy, but if you continue to, if he can just do whatever he wants,
yeah,
it's going to be more of this and less of Get Out, I think.
Notes are good.
And I'm not saying
notes are good.
I'm not saying that he's not going to make another great movie, because I think he certainly can, and I think he's got a place in this genre, that needs to be filled. A modern kind of master. But if he's going to outsmart himself, like he did, and like M. Night Shyamalan has done,
right? But also, I think it's detrimental if people keep telling you basically that you're Rod Serling.
He thinks he is.
Right, because Rod Serling was a really, different type of dude.
Yeah.
Like, he was in a demolition unit in Japan in World War II. He was.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stuff happen to him.
He'd seen some things.
Yeah, he'd seen some things. He knew how the world works.
Right.
And, nothing against Jordan Peele, but he was a comedian. And, those are not...
It's a weird transition.
Right.
And this does have some comedic moments.
Right.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's horrible. That's what I watched.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, I didn't get to see much. I watched Dirty Dancing like 75 times on set, over and over, to try to match shots and stuff.
Nice.
So, and what's funny is, about halfway through the week, I was worried that all this was going to ruin the aura of that movie for me. That was my first date, my first kiss, the drive-in. Like, that was a big movie for me. It's Dirty Dancing. I don't care. I'm not ashamed.
Right.
But I was worried with how things were going that it was going to to ruin this movie for me.
Yeah.
It didn't, and it worked out. I did manage to squeeze in. I was going to save it for Monster Week, but I'll go ahead and do it since we're intro in Monster Week. I squeezed in Clash of the Titans and Clash of the Titans.
The original and
the original and
2011,
whatever the second one was. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure that there's going to be people that will argue with me that the effects in the new one are better, but for some odd reason, they aren't.
No.
And that is, I don't know why that is, because the fact that they threw what was the owl's name?
Bilbo.
They threw Bilbo away in the second one. The guy, Sam Worthington, pulls up and says, "What is this?" And they say, "You don't need it."
Yeah.
Davos from Game of Thrones says, "You don't need it."
Yeah.
I almost cut the movie off.
Right.
Because That first movie is... I'm sorry, my phone is going crazy. That first movie is so much different, and it's so much better, and it's
way better.
But why though? The stop motion is I mean next to the
Because
remake.
they gave a fuck about how it really looked.
It's the first movie I have memory of watching.
Oh yeah,
It's in the
the
top
first
couple
movie
for me for
like
sure.
I was at my mom's boyfriend's house, and it was, I guess he had early HBO, and I just remember watching it, being like, "This." I didn't know what it was, but I was like, "This is incredible."
Yeah.
Like, and it's. I think it's sweet. I think it's because as archaic as the stop motion looks compared to something like Avatar, I think because it does hold physical space, you know it's real. Even though Medusa in reality is only about yay big, and the Kraken is only probably about that big.
Right.
Because you know it's it's real. It feels real, even though it looks fake.
Yeah.
Whereas the Kraken in this, which is amazing looking, it's this big squid with 1,000 tendrils. It looks like it's out of a video game, and it means nothing. And also, I just think that, like, you have Burgess Meredith in the original. You have. I think the cast is better. I
mean, Laurence Olivier's
yeah,
in it. For
exactly.
goodness sakes.
Yep, he's Zeus. I mean, and I also heard that there was a lot of problems on the remake that, like, the gods are supposed to be the bad guys, because Zeus is kind of set up as the bad guy at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were like, oh wait, people love Liam because they sort of chickened out on that, which would have actually been somewhat interesting.
Right.
And but just also it was. I remember seeing the remake in the theater. It was post conversion 3D. This was right after Avatar, and it was blurry, and I couldn't tell what was going on. Like when the boat sinks at the beginning and his dad drowns, I had no idea what was happening. It was just it didn't look good.
You didn't miss anything.
I didn't miss anything. Yeah, exactly. But the original there's just a magic to stop motion. I can't really explain it, but like you watch Jason the Argonauts, any of those old Harryhausen movies, or any other stop motion, and there's something to it. It's like a guy, like Godzilla, like that, there's something about a guy in a rubber suit running through a model city, it looks
Maybe it's just because of when we saw it.
Right, exactly.
And
It could be.
connected
Yeah,
you should have
childhood.
you should have a kid, they'd be like, that's stupid.
That's
It's
the worst
immediate.
thing ever.
It's
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah.
Like when I see something like that, it's like takes
But
me
the
back
effects in the
immediately.
second one were terrible too, though. They were low budget as well, but they were low budget new.
They were,
It's crazy.
they were
to me.
state of the art crap.
Yeah,
That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Whereas the original, like, is just like I said, like it's a puppet, and this little dude in England was moving it one frame at a time, taking a picture, and he did that by himself.
Yeah.
Like Medusa, the snake heads moving in different directions. He had to do that, keep track of it alone with a one frame camera.
Crazy.
That is, first of all, no one can do that, man.
And that's why I love it.
And
That's why it's
here's what makes it
legendary and
different.
always will be.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the name of the head of the CGI department from the remake? Do you know his name?
No.
But now Harryhausen, who never directed a movie, he's a technician technically, and not
You
they
know
were
exactly
Harryhausen
who it
movies.
is,
Yeah.
He is part of it in a way.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I mean,
Agreed.
so I don't know
His hands on every one of those
exactly.
shots, man.
Yeah.
Every one of those
I
shots.
agree.
Well, there you go. And then I watched Bride of the Monster.
Ooh.
Nice.
And we don't really have to discuss it. I mean, it is what it is. I'll say this. Ed Wood's produced the movie.
Yeah.
It went into the theater. He's doing better than I am, so whatever.
He had a lot of passion.
He did have a lot of passion.
A lot of passion.
He just
What
didn't
was
have a lot
the year
of...
on that?
56,
something
55?
like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I knew it was around that time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
So yeah, I did. I was going to save that for our first monster
Right.
week, but
you
we'll
get-
watch some more monster
watch
movies
there we
because
go.
there's tons of great monster movies, and that's why we're here.
And tons of okay ones.
Yeah, we're gonna watch.
This is true also.
We're gonna watch Feast, and then we're gonna watch.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna watch them.
Yep.
And there's so many other great movies, both mainstream and underground. That I mean, everybody has favorite monster movies.
Exactly.
So get into it.
All right. And see, here's the thing about monster movies. I heard Guillermo del Toro say once that they're the hardest type to do right and the easiest type to do wrong. Because really, they're
makes
like
sense.
one of your favorites, Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is completely a monster and a horror movie.
Yeah.
Right, but I would say Tremors is just a monster movie.
Just a
like there's
monster.
nothing scary about Tremors.
It's silly.
Yeah, but it's still a monster movie.
True.
You know, but like you say, Godzilla, King of All Monsters, that's a monster, but there's nothing scary about it.
Right.
So it's kind of like whatever you want it to be. Whatever you're into, there are monsters for that. There are monster movies for little kids. You know, there are monster movies for people who like rated R movies. You know, people who like comedy. It's really the subgenre that can be for everyone.
Right.
Whereas something like westerns or gangster movies, not so much. Those are for specific groups.
Yeah, that's a good take.
You know. So really, like, it's, you know, you could say, like, there's somebody who could come in and say that Bride of the Monster is their favorite monster movie. And I can't, you know, that's it. That's what works for them.
Right.
Whereas me, like, my favorite is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes, which, by the way,
Yep.
opened today.
37 years ago.
37 years ago.
Yep.
How about that?
And tanked terribly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next to Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, and like a month after E.T.
Yeah, I was going to say, when E.T.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Universal thought they were going to clean up, and they were like, we got the kids, now we're going to get the parents. And everybody was like, no, thank you.
So what do you think defines, you know, a monster movie?
And it's a movie that has some sort of creature in it.
Non-human.
Non-human. Yes.
100%. Like,
Right.
you can't have, like, some kind of human element, like...
Well, Charlize Theron as what?
Right, that's a different type of
serial
monster.
killers. That was pretty bad.
Yes, that's true. That is a movie called Monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct, and she was pretty hideous.
She's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
She won some stuff.
That's
Yeah,
true.
She did
That's
some
true.
stuff for being hideous.
But like, I mean, it could, like, it's as long as there's some sort of formerly human or inhuman thing,
Right.
Whether it be an animal, you know, something like Jaws, where it's a giant animal, like a.
Well, I was having a discussion
Right.
about, like, a movie like, say, like Fight Club, for example.
Right.
You know, where it is it is a monster that this guy turns into.
Right.
And he is fighting this monster inside of himself.
Sure.
Is that still a monster movie?
No.
Okay.
I don't, to me, no.
All right.
Now,
Jaws is a monster movie.
Yeah.
Predator.
Gotcha.
Aliens.
Yeah. I'm on board.
King Kong.
King
even
Kong.
though I would
Terminator.
say it's a boat movie.
Right?
Yeah, the 2005 King Kong. Definitely.
Terminator?
I'd say so.
For sure.
Is it like? But now some people might say no. Like, you know, some people might, like Aliens. But see, here's the thing: you would say Aliens is a monster movie, but then some people say, no, it's just a science fiction movie.
Yeah, see,
So it's
No, it's a monster movie.
But it's
Not
on
to
an
me.
alien
Really?
planet. See, there you
I
go.
would think I would categorize it as a sci-fi movie, even though yes, I love the monsters in it.
Right.
It's a
but see, I would
sci-fi
say
movie.
Terminator is more a horror movie than it is an action movie, whereas T2 is just an action movie. But I think T1's closer to being a slasher movie than anything else.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's a robot Jason.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would say T1 is a monster.
So, Death Amphetamine, your script.
Oh, Jesus.
Give him the premise and see what he says.
Oh, okay. It's about a guy. It takes place up in the mountains in a small North Carolina town where meth is rampant, just like small North Carolina towns.
So
in reality.
here.
So
Right.
yeah, so here, very similar to here.
What's wrong with that?
And that's how you got to shoot. And basically, a guy. His meth lab is tampered with, and it causes an explosion. And he basically, because he was cooking meth, it kind of gets into his bloodstream. He becomes this giant, burnt, sort of meth-fueled monster, and then gets revenge on the people who.
Is that a revenge movie or a monster movie?
That's a monster movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course it's
no.
a-
Yeah.
And Lee wrote it. Of course.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I
like,
pitched
yes,
that in film school as a 10-minute short. How I was going to do that, I have no idea.
It's fine. You worry about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you worry about it later.
Yeah.
Get your foot in the door. Is what you do.
Anyway, but yeah, like I think it's if you think it's a monster movie, it's a monster movie.
Gotcha.
Whereas, like, you know, like I said, westerns, it's got to be in the West, you know, or have cowboys in it to be a western.
Right. I got
Whereas the monster movie, like, you know, some people might say T1 is or isn't. You know, it's totally personal taste.
So, like, you would consider, like, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers,
No,
are they?
No.
Slasher movie.
I guess you could say they are.
Because they are kind of
Right.
supernatural.
Yes, I guess you could say they are. But then that's, you know, I would say no.
Okay.
You know, because there's a. But then again, that same thing. Like then it gets to vampires. That's similar to Jason. Jason's a dead guy that came back from life.
Right.
So, like I said, it's very case by case.
Sure.
You know.
It was just a discussion I was
Absolutely.
having with
Yeah.
a buddy of mine
Right.
coming up with notes for this. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, what exactly, what do you think?
Right, and that's the thing you could talk
Pretty
about. this
similar
for
to what you
hours.
guys said, yeah, sure.
Right.
Well, now Dark Universe. Who's your favorite monster in that? Dracula, Frankenstein.
Oh, I'm a Frankenstein guy.
You're a Frankenstein guy.
Oh yeah. We have same size feet.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I like the Wolfman always.
There you go.
I like the Wolfman. I like the remake.
I couldn't get into the remake. I watched it and immediately didn't like it.
Really?
It's one of those where they try to be too true, I guess, to the original to a fault.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens.
And I know
sometimes.
that's Benicio del Toro. That's his thing.
He-
He loves the Wolfman.
Right.
And he basically got that movie made.
Yes.
So God bless him.
Yeah.
He got an R-rated Wolfman movie made with him as the Wolfman. That was his dream. I cannot fault him for that.
Right.
I think the problem was getting the guy who directed The Rocketeer to direct it. Which was that guy did 1 Hour Photo, Mark Romanek.
Yeah, right.
He was going to do it but bailed out. Now, I think that would have been amazing.
That would have been nice.
Because that guy's, like, his music videos are incredible.
Yeah, to me, it wasn't terrible. It just didn't.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was just okay.
Yeah. And to me, that's worse than being terrible.
Yeah, especially when
Like,
you're
you know,
bringing something back from.
Right, we're talking about Bride of the Monster, which is unquestionably terrible.
Yeah.
But there's a charm to it. There's no charm to the Wolfman remake.
No.
That's the best way. That's the worst thing I can say about it.
I got you. What are some of your favorites outside of the ones that we've mentioned?
Well,
Got any to throw
Jaws,
on the
Predator, Aliens, and
Right.
Monster Squad's on my list.
I love Monster Squad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were going
No,
to
I
sign
love
for
Monster
that.
Squad. Monster Squad's
yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about
Wolfman's
that.
got nards.
Yeah, dude. Well, it is like that is like cinematic comfort food. You
Yeah,
put on
it's
Monster
fun.
Squad, it's
fun.
everything's right.
look
with the
at
Kids
way.
can be
See,
in the
I
room
thought-
for the
Oh,
most
no,
part.
no.
Yeah.
There's a lot more language in a kids movie for 1987
Sure.
than there is now.
I see. I almost put an asterisk right there and going, maybe don't mention that.
Yeah, no,
But
I love
I'm
Monster
glad-
Squad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like The Descent as a newer
The
one.
Descent that's the last great monster movie.
I think you're
The
right.
Descent is
What was the year on that?
2005.
I like one that we haven't mentioned that I really, really enjoyed. The Fly. With,
The remake?
with Goldblum.
Oh, The Fly.
That's one of the better remakes,
That's
I think.
the Fly remake is if he had cancer instead of turning into a giant fly and puking acid on people, that would be like an Oscar movie.
Yep.
Like him and Gina Davis are great in that movie.
Yep.
But and also the effects are great, the story's great. You know everything. It's Cronenberg's best movie.
For sure.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
but
That was 87.
yeah.
And it was hideous. Like it makes me like it's still uncomfortable.
Oh,
yeah.
There's some scenes where you're like,
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
stuff's like squirting out.
But it's so sad though. Now what? See,
like most great monster movies
Right,
and stories
should be.
are.
but see, when I was a
right?
kid, the puking didn't bother me. That was fine. That seemed like that could happen.
Dude, when he threw up on his,
No, when he breaks the guy's wrist and the
Right,
compound,
right
the
there.
bone shot out.
Yeah.
When I was like 7, I was just like, nope, and just shut the tape off. I was like, I don't like that because
Can't do it.
when I was a little kid, I was watching the Olympics and this gymnast landed off the spinny things, and his fucking leg bone shot out on TV, and I was like, yeah, that was it for me. That stuff, yeah, compound fractures. Some people are scared of zombies. I'm scared of that shit.
Yeah, you got any like under the radar ones? Monster movies for the last however long.
I mean, there's lots of ones, man. Like stuff like Chud in the '80s.
Yeah, I mean just kind of under the radar.
Gremlins is a great. See, that's a monster movie for kids.
Speaking of Chud, at the very beginning of
Yeah.
Us, there's a shot of this television. It's in 1986, and there's a VHS tape of Chud
Nice.
right beside the TV.
Yeah. Now, see, that's a movie I think could be remade
Well, there you go.
and improved on.
Okay.
Chud.
What are some other? I mean, you got any other monster-y movies that could or should be
I've
remade?
got one. I've got one.
I've got one too.
And everybody's will probably disagree with me on this.
I
but
think
the
you'll hate mine.
The Blair Witch Project, I think, is a monster movie.
Yeah, if you think The Witch is a monster, I think that works.
I don't know.
But is that something that you would ever?
So all my kids,
Wanna watch
I've already like briefed all my kids on the fact that that's real, and I really want to. I was so funny.
You're
'cause
gonna save it up for Halloween?
I'm gonna save it for some time, but the problem is it's got 150 f-bombs in it, and I'm like, oh well, I could probably show them this now, but
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't
anything
know.
other
if
than
they're
being like,
old
oh my
enough.
god, I'm
I
so
don't-
fucking
will they,
busy.
Will they even get through it though? Because there's a lot of build-up.
No, they won't.
They gotta wait a little longer.
The best thing about the movie, I've never seen the entire movie, is before it came out, there was a full-page magazine ad. There was a timeline of everything starting from when the witch was killed in 16 whatever.
Yeah, oh, it's great.
And I remember reading that in like
and thinking it was real.
That was the coolest thing about the movie. Was the advertising.
That's why I went to go see the movie.
Yeah.
And then after, I'm like looking up Burkittsville, Maryland, because I want to go camping there. Like,
Right.
what the fuck am I talking
but that
about?
last 15 seconds of that movie was the coolest thing ever. Then, like, those guys were brilliant. Like the way they did it, the way they made that work, and then you hear.
But that's one you can't really remake. Right.
Okay,
That's just an under the radar one that you're talking about. I got an under the radar one that we haven't talked about.
Right.
Frank Darabont's The Mist.
Dude, I love The Mist.
Yes.
That's a cool fucking monster movie that is kind of under the radar.
Have you watched it in black and white?
Where did I see that?
It's on Blu-ray. You can watch it in color or in black and white, and the black and white looks great. Like, he took the time to make it look like an old monster movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
It's worth your time. Yeah. And but I first heard about that, like, I bought on tape when I was there. They did it at like an old radio play.
Yeah.
Like, it was all had sound effects and stuff for The Mist, and that's how I first learned about it. And I love The Mist.
Yeah, it's a cool fucking movie.
The ending that'll separate the chaff from the wheat right there. There's some people who just cannot accept the ending.
Are zombie movies monster movies,
I
or
think so.
are they zombie movies?
They've created their own.
And I think it depends. I would say Reanimator is a monster movie, whereas I might say like 28 Days Later, that's just infected people.
Right.
I think it depends on the movie. Like you could say the Evil Dead movies; those are zombies because they come back from the dead.
It's a monster movie,
but it's a monster movie.
Kind of.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's so, like I think one of my favorite ones from the 80s is The Howling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I will admit that American Werewolf is a better movie.
Right.
But The Howling is more my type of movie.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain that. Like technically, American Werewolf is flawless and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a better story. But Joe Dante's direction in The Howling just just funky. And
what about Silver Bullet?
I love Silver Bullet, even though the werewolf isn't that great. Kind of looks like a bear.
Yeah, agreed.
And,
still cool,
but it's still a cool movie.
Yeah, and story.
And it's the only movie where getting your alcoholic uncle to go get you a gun works out great.
Yeah,
because Gary Busey's awesome in that movie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I tell you another good one from the 80s, Pumpkinhead, which takes place in North Carolina.
Yes.
Directed by the great Stan Winston, the special effects artist. But then you get stuff like Basket Case. I mean,
Cabin Fever.
Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods. All right. Yeah.
Gremlins.
Gremlins. Yeah.
Gremlins is definitely a monster movie. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, The Gate.
Yes.
The Gate.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That was a good movie.
That's a good movie.
As a kid.
Yeah. Another good remake is from '88 is the remake of The Blob.
Right.
Which was written by Frank Darabont.
Right.
And
he didn't direct that, though.
No. Chuck Russell, the guy who did Nightmare 3, directed it. And Life Force.
Yes,
there we go.
Space vampires.
Naked space vampires.
that's hard to beat, right?
Exactly.
There. That's good.
And but I mean, like they talking about Freddy. Like you could say Freddy is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
it's like when they were human and now they're not.
Right.
But then the argument is, well, what about vampires?
Right. Exactly.
Mark Rose, do you want me to read this comment on the air or read this comment on the air?
I think you should read the comment on the air.
Okay, well, so type in the comment that you want me to read while we're interrupting our production. Anyway, yes, you're right.
And I've got one that I had a hard time thinking of remakes that I would actually, that haven't been done to death or that I would actually maybe even want to see.
Right.
And one that I could come up with, it's kind of from left field a little bit. I still think it's a really good story that just hasn't been done properly.
Right.
Is Island of Dr. Moreau.
Right. Yeah.
The one from the mid-90s.
It's terrible.
Was
the best.
atrocious.
The best thing about that is the documentary Lost Soul about the making of it, which you can watch on Shudder if you have that subscription.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it's great. Like it's 10 times better than the movie. Just people telling stories about how they were like, once they replaced directors, it kind of just became whatever. And like Marlon Brando was just like, I should have an ice bucket on my head. And they were like, sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's one I just think could be
done.
done.
The one from the 30s, Island of Lost Souls, is actually incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
I just think it's one that could maybe be redone and be resuscitated,
Absolutely.
if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one you could do like every 20 years. And just
Yeah, I think so.
Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right.
You can do that every 20 years just because the world's different.
Yeah, you just update the world scene,
I'll tell you another one from 1980, Humanoids from the Deep, which is a Roger Corman produced movie about fishermen who want to reproduce with human women.
Yeah.
And it is disgusting.
Yeah.
And, you could go on forever.
There's a ton.
Deep Star 6, Leviathan, underwater monster movies.
Yeah.
We look like a bunch of bogans. That's what somebody said. We look like a bunch of bogans. It's great.
And so what are some that should never be remade?
That's a tough list.
Right.
But I've got a couple.
Right.
I think.
Moby Dick should never be remade. That's a monster movie, right?
I guess you could
or
say.
Is it a whale movie?
I mean, it's a big.
Well, if Jaws is, then Moby Dick is.
Well, there you go.
Jaws should never, ever,
No,
ever,
Jaws should
ever,
never be.
ever, ever be remade.
Right.
Right.
The Thing should never, ever be
Ever.
remade.
But The Thing was a
Ever
remake.
be- Oh, gotcha. See, Lee.
And then they remade it again.
Well,
not
that's
too long
supposed to
ago,
be a
right?
prequel to the John Carpenter one. I think. I never saw it. I think it takes place. You know, the Norwegian camp they go to at the beginning. It takes place there. Is for if I remember correctly.
King Kong should never be remade again.
Again.
Planet of the Apes should never be remade again. I could go through this whole book and tell
Yeah.
you that everyone. But no, Predator should
No.
never be done again.
Nope.
The Mummy, just leave it out.
Yeah.
We've sucked it dry.
Right.
There should be no more Aliens movies. We're good.
I think
That's
there
up to
could be-
Disney now.
Yeah, I think there could be more Wolfman.
Well, see that talking about the Mummy, like they're doing the Invisible Man next,
Right.
Because Blumhouse now has control over the Universal monsters.
All of it, yeah.
So I mean, I think if the Invisible Man movie is good, which directed by Lee Winnell, who did Upgrade, which came out last year, which I was a big fan of. If that's good, they'll move forward with a new Dracula,
Yeah, aren't you Dracula out too?
Dude,
man?
I mean, after they've hit like 300, it doesn't really matter.
Coppola's was the only good one.
Well, it's the only.
Have you ever seen?
Coppola's was the only.
There's one when they made the Bela Lugosi one. The guy who owned Universal was so sure it was going to bomb. During the night when the crew would go home, he had a Spanish language crew come in, and they did a Spanish language Dracula. Like whatever scene they shot that day in the Bela Lugosi one, they would shoot. And it's a special feature on most of the Universal Dracula DVDs. And it's actually a better movie. Like the
Really?
camera moves, the guy who plays Dracula is not as good as Lugosi. I'll give him that. But it's more like atmospheric. It's a cooler looking movie.
Nice.
Because the Bela Lugosi one, as legendary as it's a filmed play. It's
Right.
not a great movie.
I agree.
Whereas I'd say Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein are great movies from the 30s. But, here's the thing. Like, Jaws, I don't think Jaws. I think that's my all-time favorite movie, so obviously I'm going to say
Right.
it.
Obviously, yes.
But, like, the Child's Play remake, which just came out, to some people, that's their Jaws, is the 1988 Child's Play.
Well, I'll tell you what I
And-
did.
And did you go see it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I watched the original. I got talked into watching the original with Oliver because
Yeah.
he had seen commercials for the newer one. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, Daddy, it's Child's Play. Like, let's watch it."
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, we'll see what's up. I don't remember anything from
Right.
the original one. I haven't seen it since it probably came out. And, there's not really any gore or anything like that. But, man, when the doll talks,
Yeah.
once he gets to a certain point,
Yeah.
he is...
That Brad Dourif voice.
Yeah, it is a lot of fucks and all this. I'm like, we should not be watching this. Like,
Yeah.
I've made a mistake. And he's like, oh, no, Daddy, it's fine. And then I made a bigger mistake after that.
Yeah.
And we watched Jackass 3, and that
Oh
was
my
an absolute
gosh.
fucking disaster.
Why would you do that?
Well,
And I thought I was worried about what I let my kids watch.
look, it was fun up until the point where there's dicks out, and I was like, all right, man, enough. But the stunts and all, man,
Yeah.
he
It's
Is
loved
that
it.
the one where he puts the cars in his butt?
No, I think that's one. We've gone off topic. But I think
There
that's
were
one.
a lot. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Fine.
Monster movie? No. But, God.
The only thing I can say about the Child's Play remake is that the Chucky in it looks like the original Chucky after he had a bunch of plastic surgery.
Looks
like
weird.
He has like a midlife crisis
Yeah.
and just said the hell with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it just looks weird.
Well, and the original's not... it's one that you watch, and I don't understand why it's being... Like, can you not come up with
Well,
something?
it's a
It's
recognizable
It's just a name.
property.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
So, not looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
So, not
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, what are we looking forward to seeing? We've all seen. I've seen Feast,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Right.
I've never seen, and I don't think I've ever seen them.
I saw them when I was very young on TV. I remember
I may
it has a lot of
but-
flamethrowers in it,
Yeah.
and the ants make like this weird rattling noise before they attack. That's all I remember.
It's good enough.
Yeah. Because
Where are
flamethrowers
we
make
going to get
everything
them in? Do we have to buy that?
I don't know. I just have these two.
Great, and you've seen them, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I watched them the other night.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into monsters this block. Well, I'm going to have to apologize. We were going to do the big kill, and we couldn't get. My friend who's in the actual movie, was going to be on the show, but we couldn't sync up on the West Coast and the East Coast with our schedule this week, so we pushed the big kill into the Western block, which will be next.
All right.
So we're going to do the monsters coming up. Worst monster movie ever. Before we take over.
I tell you, worst monster movie ever. It's the worst one that I've ever seen, and it's also a Bela Lugosi movie.
Okay.
And I bought it. It came on those like in the mid 2000s when you could just go to like a grocery store and they had like a pile of DVDs for like $5.
Yeah.
It was called My Son the Vampire, and the only thing I can explain it to you is like Medea, right? Well, in the 50s
Yes.
in Ireland, there was a guy who dressed up like a grandma who had a whole series of movies, and this was one that had Bela Lugosi in it, and it was just the worst thing ever. It was like. I think I got some Roger Corman movie as like the first movie on the disc, and this was like the second bonus movie. And I think I watched the whole thing, but it was unbearable.
That bad.
Yeah.
It sounds fucking.
It was, the worst thing ever. I think he builds a robot in it. I don't even think Bela Lugosi is a vampire in it, if I can remember correctly.
My Son the Vampire.
Yeah.
Worst monster movie.
I don't know.
That's tough.
It is tough.
And then again, it depends on what you want to define
Yeah.
as a monster movie.
Right.
So like, I don't know, man.
Mine was Bride of the Monster.
Kind of got me on this one.
Now see, what's worse, Bride of the Monster, because it's inept and badly made, or something like Alien versus Predator,
Oh, sure.
where they spend millions of dollars, and it's just
Junk.
It's just junk.
Fair enough. You're right. Alien Covenant was terrible. Like Alien,
Nope.
Alien Resurrection.
Nope, gonna change my mind. Prometheus,
Oh yes.
because I can never get enough of shitting on Prometheus.
Horrible.
Yeah, I would rather watch My Son the Vampire again.
See, there you go. So we could really get. You could
Yeah.
really go. We could spend.
But for
another
me,
hour on
that's a sci-fi movie.
But
It's not a
a
monster.
guy turns into a space zombie and attacks people who weren't smart enough to bring weapons. I'm counting it. And a woman performs an abortion on herself and pulls a squid out of her stomach.
Did that happen? I don't remember.
Oh, it did
Yeah.
happen. It's
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah, it's not a good movie.
There's nothing good about it.
Yeah,
Nothing good about it.
yep.
Well, let's hope that the three movies that we're going to watch are better than the ones we just talked about.
They're better than Prometheus. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them.
Yeah. I'm ready to feast and.
Yeah, I can't wait to feast on that.
You know who I think are monsters? People who make fucking puns. Say that for me.
All right. Well, all right. Well, that's it. So we're introing monsters. You got some other stuff there?
No, man.
Oh yeah, no. You got an announcement.
Just some news, some local.
Oh, sweet. We got some stuff.
Just
yes.
some local news. My mom actually called me and told me about this. She saw it in the Hickory Daily Record. I don't read the newspaper anymore.
Yeah, you have a phone.
Who does? Yeah, she does. And tomorrow night, and it has something to do with the library around here, they are doing a free showing at the Carolina Theater, downtown Hickory, at 7 o'clock of the 1954 original Godzilla. And I'm going to try and check it out.
Nice. Yeah. Is it the Japanese cut or the one with Ring McBurr? I assume it's the Ring McBurr one.
I would assume, but
Okay.
they didn't. It
Okay,
didn't
I
really
was
give me the
wondering.
details yet.
Okay.
I don't know. It just said original 1954.
That's things that only dudes like me care about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So come out and see it.
Right, there you go.
You know, we're talking about monsters. I thought that was kind of.
I have something that's not monster related, but it is something related to something we talked about before.
Okay. What you got?
A few months ago, we talked about how after the whole pedophile scandal that Bryan Singer was still attached to the Red Sonja movie. About a week after that, he was dropped.
Right.
Now, there's a TV show on Amazon called Transparent, created by a woman named Jill Soloway. And she is going to direct the new Red Sonja movie. So they have gone 180.
Nice.
You know, so it'll be a Red Sonja movie directed by a woman. And with a big budget and produced by Millennium Films, people who produced the Expendables movies.
Right.
So that will be interesting to see how that goes down.
I hope it's good.
I bet it is too. I do too.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I think
Well,
so.
hey, I got some exciting news.
Okay.
We're going to do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the Golden Ticket.
Nice.
You hear that? You hear that, Facebook land?
Yep.
We're going to be at the Golden Ticket, and we're going to do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Nice. I cannot wait.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Quentin Tarantino is going to completely avoid my questions of why that he didn't put Margot Robbie in it more. Did you see all that?
Yeah.
No.
He flipped out on some reporter.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I did.
You know, poor guy. You can't do anything anymore without somebody being mad about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. You really can't. You really can't. Well, also, I don't know. Our live show kind of tanked there for a second. Wanted to let everybody know that you start this weekend and July 5th to visit the Land of Oz in Beach Mountain. You've got to go see it. It's a great attraction.
When's the fall one?
The fall one is 2 weekends in September.
Okay.
I will post that up on the website.
Right.
The 15th, the weekend of the 15th and the weekend of the 21st, I want to say.
Yeah. That much should be better just weather-wise.
That one's better. If you want to see, kids are better. The Autumn in Oz is better for the kids.
Yeah.
Because it's all the characters. But it's funny because, I mean, that movie was like, remember we used to, when I was a kid, like I couldn't wait because once a year
They
it
showed
came
it
on
once a
CBS.
year. I tried to explain that to my niece that they used to show movies once a year. If you missed Star Wars on CBS in like 1985, you had to wait another year.
Yeah.
And she was like, "That's stupid." Like,
Right.
I remember when they did Creature from the Black Lagoon.
In 3D?
In 3D.
You had the 7-Eleven to get the glasses.
Yeah, to get the 7-Eleven to
It
get
was
the
just like,
glasses.
oh my God, it's happening.
God,
Yeah.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and it's
How did I
funny.
not bring that up?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking idiot.
TV was so much better when it sucked a little more. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there was a whole lot less of it.
There was a whole lot less of it, but they put more effort into it.
Sure.
You know, you got 3D showings of Creature from the Black Lagoon on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
You know.
I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in front of the television, like popcorn. I was just like, it's happening.
Yeah.
I remember Dad and I having to drive to Newton to that market basket to get the glasses because the glasses they were all out, and I remember sitting there going, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah.
But so the Wizard of Oz was like that too.
Yeah.
And it's funny now. I had to brief my daughter was in one of the commercials, and I had to literally we're sitting there scanning through it on my phone, going, "All right, here's a key point. Here's a key point." I'm sitting there going, "My daughter doesn't know Wizard of Oz. That's like a staple."
Right. It was a thing. You watched it every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the
I don't know when that stopped.
We
Early
even
90s.
appreciate, even as a kid, we had color. I had color TV.
Yeah.
I still appreciated the brown to the
Yeah.
color. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's the greatest.
And people
thing
like
ever.
people who hate musicals like that movie. Like people who don't watch old movies like that movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah.
It's if you're gonna watch an older movie, that's the one.
Right, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind is there too.
Okay.
HUD. I mean, any Paul Newman.
I meant from like the 30s or 40s. Like
Oh,
there are
yeah,
people who
sure.
never watch a movie that old.
Yeah.
Like you could give them,
But
you
they'll
could
watch
give them a
that.
Blu-ray Casablanca and they'll throw it away.
Yeah.
But they'll watch The Wizard of Oz. You know,
Or at least they used to.
they used to. I
was
don't know
a
about
big
kids
deal.
now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think it's.
Yeah. I have no idea what kids are into now.
They're into YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching people play video games.
Yes, my two daughters last night, I walked into their room and their TV was blaring. It was some girl talking straight to camera in her room, one LED light lighting her face, and all she did was talk for 45 minutes in there like this.
My niece will watch videos of people opening toys she
Yes.
doesn't own and has no interest in buying. She'll just sit there and watch it. I'm like, do you want that? She's like, She just wants to watch the
my
video.
kid said that too. It's crazy. It's completely different.
Like when I was a kid and I saw like a commercial for like a G.I. Joe toy, I was just like, I want that. I give a crap about the commercial. You know, but now it's just they'd rather watch somebody talk about it or play with it than them play with it.
Well, my
Weird,
son and
dude. It's the
I
opposite. It's wrong.
Yeah.
speaking of monster movies, I started the movie Boar on Shudder.
That's what I was going to suggest. I'm going to watch that myself.
Okay, cool. Well, it's funny. I was tired. It was the night I'd just gotten back from this TV show, and I fell asleep. But he watched it, and he said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen.
Right.
So, what does that detail? I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
We'll see.
We'll find out if it's the worst thing that we've ever
But how old
seen.
is he? How old's your son?
He's 11.
11. So, I mean, you know, it could be. To him.
Oh, but wait, real
Yeah.
fast. What's great?
Yeah.
That was the worst movie ever. So, and I've introduced him to plenty of horror movies. Yeah, every bit, and nothing really it didn't scare him. Nothing scared him. But guess what? I finally the other day had to come to the office because I had some work to do, and I was like, all right, Friday the 13th Part 2. I said, I'm gonna let you watch this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell me if you're scared. Tell me how you feel at the end of it. He was scared to death, and I was like, you know why? Because he was human.
Yeah.
It's the only Jason movie where he was actually he got kicked in the balls and he fell over. He's in suspenders.
Yep.
He's real life and is scared, and he was scared to death. And I was like, that's the movie that scared me when I was a kid, and that's why.
Nice.
And then I let him watch Jason Part 4.
Yeah.
And I said, he's not real scary in that. And he's like, no. I said, that's because he's not human anymore.
Right.
He's a monster at this point in time.
Right.
So there you go. We're all about monsters this week. And we'll be watching Feast coming up for next week. So anybody on the Facebook page. Oh, I had one more thing.
What's that?
Eli Roth.
Yep. Right. Who was the worst?
The worst.
Eli was he
can't
lost
believe
or
it.
won the mid-year
He won. Yeah, he won being the worst.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There was more comments bad about him than there were Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Because Rob Zombie is more. It's aesthetic. It has nothing to do with him.
It's his style. It's what he likes.
Yeah. I like I said, if I met Rob Zombie, I'd be like, hey, Rob Zombie. If I met Rob, I'd be like, oh fuck, there's Rob. Let me get out of here.
Yeah. He looks like an asshole.
Yeah. He looks like a douche.
Yep. And there you go. So, all right. Well, next week we'll be
Feast.
watching Feast.
Yep. From 2005.
Starting the monster block.
2006. Yeah.
Yep, 2006. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, right?
And produced.
And Wes Craven produced it.
Yep, that was the best season of Project Greenlight, I thought.
That's right. This was a Project Greenlight,
It sure
wasn't
was.
it?
Yep.
That was what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
I have to remember that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, all right. Well, we will see you next week.
Yep.
After we've watched Feast. Keep the monsters under the bed.
There we go.